Good evening, everyone, and welcome to yet another awesome session of Mindful Living. We truly appreciate your taking out the time and joining our session today. I promise you that I'll do my best to make this investment of time worth your while. Your joining the session today is a clear demonstration of your intention to improve your quality of life, and that is why all sessions of mindful living are guaranteed to do. Our session today is specially organized to celebrate Buddha Purnima. What better way to celebrate Buddha Purnima other than to talk about the message which Buddha shared with us? In case you are keen on celebrating Buddha Purnima, I would urge you to share the message about this session today with your friends. So I'll pause here for a couple of seconds to let you share the message about the session today with your friends and family so that they can benefit from it. Please share the message with 3 of your friends. And once you have shared the message, please type done in the chat. The objective of the session today is to have a basic understanding of what mindfulness is and what are its components. Bust some myths about mindfulness. There are a lot of myths about mindfulness, so we'll talk about them. This is the superpower that we have, and I'll share the reasons why I think this is our superpower. We will practice mindfulness, and also I'll share with you 2 simple techniques which you can practice, which you can incorporate in your day-to-day lives, which do not require any additional time. So friends, some of you are joining us for the first time. If you're joining a mindful living session for the first time, please type FT in the chat box. If you're joining a mindful living session for the first time, please type FT in the chat box. And thank you, friends, for sharing about the message with your groups. Thank you, Navneet. Thank you, Shalini. So friends, as some of you are joining for the first time, I'll take a minute to introduce myself. My name is Ashish Kumar, and I am the founder of Mindful Living. I started Mindful Living in 2018, prior to which I worked in the corporate sector for over 25 years in senior management roles with organizations like Tata AIG, Future Generali, Marsh India, HCL Healthcare, and Healthcare at Home. By education, I'm an MBA, cost accountant, fellow of Life Management Institute, and a certified mindfulness meditation teacher. During the years of my working in the corporate sector, I saw how stressed the employees are in the corporate sector and how that stress is taking a toll on their health, happiness, and well-being. With a mission to help 1 million working professionals lead healthier, happier lives, we set out to conduct mindfulness sessions for the employees in the corporate sector. And in the last 5 years, we have conducted over 300 sessions for over 50 blue chip organizations that include names like Aditya Birla Group, Tata Group, IBM, EXL, Kotak Life, SDFC Life, Schneider, Signify, and many others. The session today is being organized as a part of the Mindful Living Community Initiative, which we started in April 2020. When the first lockdown happened, few of my friends reached out to me and requested me to conduct a mindfulness session for them to help them deal with the stress and anxiety which the lockdown was causing. So I organized a session over a weekend, and one thing led to the other. And today we have grown to be a vibrant community of over 3,000 people who connect every weekend to practice mindfulness, to learn about mindfulness and practice mindfulness. If you would like to be a part of this awesome community, please click on the link that we are sharing in the chat. This is a very safe space for people to come, learn, share about mindfulness. And rather than me talking more about it, I would like to invite Shivani, who is one of our community members, to talk about mindful living and her experience of being a member with the community. Welcome, Shivani.
Thank you, Ashish, for inviting me. My voice is audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So it's a great pleasure associating with Mindful Living community. Let me introduce myself. My name is Shivani Gupta, and I'm a chartered accountant by qualification and an author, speaker, as well as growth and mindset coach by choice. So what brings me here, what connected me here is the attitude towards learning. I believe in the concept of LP, that is lifelong learning. And learning is what made me connected. I'm also a good networker. So that made me connected to the mindful living. And mindfulness is something that we all must practice on a regular basis. I can say daily basis to connect to our higher self and consciousness. Because everything will work out only when we are connected and grounded. So that's one of the reasons I joined this community of mindful living, as well as I would like to say about it that together we all grow, and we all grow from each other's mutual support and help. So I am experiencing like much benefit from the community, from being associated with different kind of people, and that helps us to connect, to know about the different fields, as well as there are like amazing number of opportunities that we get from each other, and it helps us each one of us grow together. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shivani, for sharing this beautiful thoughts with us. And friends, on that note, I'll once again like to invite you to be a part of this community. There is no fees. So please feel free to join and benefit from the awesome work that we're doing every weekend. Few groundkeeping rules before we get started. Please keep your camera on. That will help the interaction, and use the reactions button to clap, show thumbs up or love whenever I share something that resonates with you. And enjoy this cartoon, and also focus your attention on the session today. Mindfulness is about being in the present. So please don't get distracted by your phones. This 1 hour and the things we share in this could simply transform your life. So I request your full attention. There are things that we will share with you which you may know of already, and some may be new. Some you may agree with, some you may disagree with. And sometimes what happens is when we hear something that we have not heard before or we disagree with, our mind tends to reject the whole idea. And I would urge you not to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but to focus on one thing that you can take away from the session today and apply in your life. And that one thing, friends, could truly transform your life. So stay focused on the messages that we are going to get in this session, and derive that golden nugget. Friends, last couple of years have been very challenging for us for a multiple variety of reasons. So if you're comfortable, please share with us one challenge that you are facing, which you would like to have a solution to. You could either put it in the chat, address it to everyone, or you could send a DM to me. But take a couple of seconds to identify and share with us what is the challenge that you are facing or someone you know is facing. Either please type in the chat addressing everyone, or DM to me. There is a reason we are asking you to identify the challenge, because mindfulness, my friend says, can help us deal with any challenge that we are facing. All right. Health problems, over anxiety. Okay. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Some of them are sending. Okay. Health challenges. Okay. Thank you, Nina ji. finance, loneliness. Okay. All right. Overcoming distractions. Okay. Okay. Thank you, friends. Please keep it coming. Anxiety and stress. Thank you for sharing that. Troubled relationships. Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate your sharing it with everyone. Okay. Thank you, Ravi. So friends, please keep it, let it keep coming. You can DM me or share it with everybody in the chat. And by the end of the session, it will be my endeavor to help you address these challenges. And we will have a question. The duration of the session is an hour, but I'm happy to extend the session to address all your questions. So we will, we will not leave till your questions are answered. Thank you for sharing your challenges, and let's now dive into the session, understanding what is mindfulness. Friends, mindfulness is a technique which has its root in the Vipassana meditation that was taught by Gautam Buddha about 2,500 years ago. This technique, which was found by Gautam Buddha, spread to India's neighboring countries, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, and many other countries, but over a period of time got lost from India itself. On the top right is the photograph of Sri Satyanarayan Goenka. He is considered to be one of the foremost teachers of mindfulness meditation in the whole world. And he is credited with bringing the Vipassana meditation technique back to India in 1960s. And again, from here, it spread across the world. And I had the privilege of learning mindfulness from him directly in 1991. Below him is Sean Fargo. Sean is an ex-Buddhist monk who lives in California and is the person who certified me as a teacher in mindfulness. This technique has over 2,500 years of history, but is in fashion even today. It's not gone out of fashion. And it is, on the contrary, getting more and more popular. There is a lot of work that has been done by Harvard Business School on mindfulness, and I'm asking Ruchi to share the link with you in the chat on different articles that have been published in Harvard Business Review related to mindfulness. You could read them at your leisure and see the amount of work, how this is getting integrated in the business. Mindfulness has been on the cover page of Times. Many books have been written. So this ancient technique is really solving the problems which people are facing in the modern day world. And we will see more of that as we go forward. CEOs are practicing it. Billionaires are practicing it. Bill Gates says that he practices mindfulness for over 30 minutes every week. You have Oprah Winfrey on the right, who's a self-made billionaire. She comes from a very poor family background, but has used mindfulness to elevate her life and lives of millions of other people to the next level. It is not only billionaires and business owners, but CEOs also have found mindfulness extremely important. And I saw some messages in the chat who talked about how mindfulness can help them deal with the health-related issues. And Mark Bertolini is one example. Mark was the CEO of Aetna. And sometime in 2006, while he was skiing, he met with a fatal accident which fractured his spine and neck in multiple places. To deal with the pain, he was put on opioids, and opioids are very depressive. There came a point in his life when he was wanting to commit suicide. And at the suggestion of his wife, he took up yoga and meditation. And over a period of time, his ability to deal with the pain increased. His pain did not go away, but his ability to deal with the pain went up. And he has written this book called Mission Driven Leadership. And in this book, he describes in detail about how mindfulness helped him deal with his health situation. And once you experience mindfulness, you want to go and share the bounty with everybody. And what he did was he introduced mindfulness and yoga sessions to his employees. And over a period of couple of years, more than 13,000 employees of Etna underwent some form of mindfulness or yoga session. And the results were dramatic. I'm not saying that was the only reason, but due to a combination of factors, Etna's share price went up by 500% over a period of 7 years. And mind you, friends, Etna is not a startup. It is a Fortune 50 company, very mature company. And the benchmark index in that period rose only by 125%. So price of other S&P 500 companies rose by 125%, but Etna's price rose by 500%. So that's the power when you start practicing mindfulness and introduce mindfulness to other people. Towards the end of the session, I'll also share with you, in case you would like to organize a mindfulness session in your company, I would be happy to assist you with that. So this is being followed by many people, and that is one of the reasons mindfulness has been incorporated into learning and development and organizational development initiatives of more than 70% of the Fortune 500 companies. So friends, you must be wondering, why should we practice mindfulness? And does this image give you any clue on why should we practice mindfulness? Please type or unmute and speak why should we practice mindfulness? Does this image give you any clue?
From confused state to a clarity state.
Confused state to clarity state. Thank you for sharing that, Sylvia. Let's hear from few others.
Declutter the mind.
Declutter the mind. Beautiful, beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. Anybody else?
Stable mind.
Yeah, please type in the chat. I think there are more than one people speaking at the same time. It helps in dealing with the overburden. Yes, you're right. Let's see what else do we hear.
Unorganized.
Clarity, focus. Okay, very nice. Very nice. All of you are right. And there are many ways in which mindfulness helps. And that is the reason it is increasingly becoming popular, not only in India, but across the world. It helps in reducing stress, helps in increasing focus, helps us become healthier, happier, regulate our emotions, addictions, helps us sleep better, improves communication, teamwork, leadership, and it also has anti-aging benefits. So there are many, many benefits. Don't go by it because I'm saying it. Do check out the research. If you just Google on mindfulness, you will find thousands of research articles. And this is medical research. It's been researched very, very well. And that is something which I'm very grateful to the Western world, is because they have researched this so well. It becomes so much more believable. We knew it all the time, but the research now helps us find the proof for that or evidence to that. So but there is a lot of questions people have. It may work for Bill Gates, it may work for Oprah Winfrey, it may work for Mark Bertolini, but will it work for me? उनके लिए तो ठीक है, मेरे लिए ठीक है कि नहीं? And there are many doubts people have. One of them is, people think that if I practice mindfulness, people will think that I have given up on life. It's an escapism, I'm escaping from life, or I have lost my competitive edge, but it is none of that. In fact, it makes you more and more competitive. And I'll talk about it, how it helps you become more competitive at workplace, how it helps you achieve more. And that is one of the reasons why HBR and so many, it's not only Harvard, Stanford, and so many other colleges now have some form of mindfulness being taught as a part of the curriculum. I was once conducting a session in a corporate, and I saw a few people waiting outside, standing outside the hall where the session was to be conducted. And I asked them, are you not coming in? And one of the persons said, no, I'm not going to participate in the mindfulness because that means I'll have to empty my mind. Or mera dimag khali ho jayega, so I'll lose everything, I'll lose my entity. Mindfulness does not mean you have to empty your mind. You don't lose anything, So these are myths around. Mindfulness basically means observing your thoughts and emotions, and we'll talk about it. So it does not mean emptying your mind. You don't become a lunatic or anything like that. It does not mean wearing clothes of any particular color. It's not ritualistic. It's not even easy. It's like a skill, like any other skill that we have, and it takes practice. It takes a lot of practice, and as we keep practicing, it helps in rewiring our brain, and helps us get what we want in our life. If I'll pause here to see if you have any myths you would like me to clear about, please type in the chat, and I'll be happy to address any myth that you may have, which may be stopping you from practicing mindfulness. If not, then maybe towards the end, we'll be happy to hear from you. So these are some myths. I tell you, it's a very safe practice. I have been practicing for 30 years. It does not also mean that you need to leave anything. I live with a family, and I have regular friends, regular life. So you don't have to leave anything. You can continue with whatever you want to do in your life, but do it mindfully. So that's another thing which stops sometimes people. कि मेरे को छोड़ना पड़ेगा. I'll have to give up eating non-veg, or I'll have to give up drinking, or I'll have to give up this. And you don't have to give up anything. Whatever you're doing, you continue doing, but do it mindfully. So that's what it is. Now let's understand what mindfulness actually is. This is a definition given to us by Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, and hats off to him for the tremendous amount of work that he has done in this area. He says that mindfulness is keeping one's complete attention to the experience on a moment-to-moment basis in an open and non-judgmental way. This may sound like a lot of English, but let's break this down to understand this better. What he is saying is we keep our attention on the experience we are having. So it's being aware about the experience that we are having on a moment-to-moment basis, and accepting the experience that we are having in a non-judgmental way. So you accept your thoughts, people as they are, and not to identify with them, and making a choice, not living mindlessly but living mindfully. So that is what the 5 core components of mindfulness are. And to my mind, this is my Swiss knife, which I can carry always with me wherever I am, and it can help me do whatever I want to do. And to understand this better, let's do a practice. Let's do a brief 10-minute practice of mindfulness. And that's when we will truly appreciate what this practice is about. And then we will come back after this practice and revisit the definition for a deeper understanding. Is it okay for us to do a 10-minute practice? If it is okay, please type okay in the chat box. Okay, thank you. Thank you, friends. If possible, please keep your cameras on, because it's important for me to be able to see you when we are doing this practice. So settle down wherever you are, and sit with your back and neck straight. Straight but not stiff. Be relaxed. Have a gentle smile on your face. You may close your eyes. Remove the specs in case you wear specs. And focus your attention, entire attention, on the area at the entrance of your nostrils. And observe every breath that is coming in and moving out. Bring your attention, entire attention, to the area at the entrance of the nostrils. and observe every breath that is coming in or moving out. The breath may be coming in from the left nostril or the right nostril, or from both the nostrils. It is okay. We are not regulating the breath. We're just observing it as it is. Your breath may be shallow or deep. However it is, let it be. Incoming breath, outgoing breath. Incoming breath, outgoing breath, as it is. It is possible that you find your mind to be wandering. Wandering of mind is not its mistake. It is its nature. Every time you find your mind has wandered away, gently bring it back to focus on your breath. Incoming breath, outgoing breath, as it is. Focusing our breath, focusing our attention on the breath is a great way to root our attention to the present. Because we can't go to a breath we have just taken, nor can we go to a breath we are about to take. Continue to breathe. Like a watchman, observe every breath that is coming in and every breath that is moving out. Incoming breath, outgoing breath, as it is. All we have got is the present moment. Past is gone, and future is yet to arrive. All we have got is the present. That is why present is a gift. Present is a present. In a couple of seconds from now, we'll be coming to the end of this practice. Continue to breathe. As we come to the end of this practice, consider setting an intention. That being mindful will help you and everyone you come in contact with. Thank you for practicing mindfulness with me. You may choose to keep your eyes closed for a couple of seconds more and stay with the feeling. And once you're comfortable, please type in the chat how your experience was. Thank you, Asanali. Yeah, that's the nature of the mind. Thank you, Subir. Thank you, Navneet. Yeah, Shashi, that's normal. It requires a lot of practice. Okay, friends, let your comments keep coming in, and let's go back to the presentation to revisit the definition of mindfulness once again. Now, does this definition make a little bit more sense to you? Keeping one's complete attention to the experience on a moment-to-moment basis in an open and non-judgmental way. What we practice is exactly this. And today we are going to talk a little bit more about two components of the mindfulness. One is attention and second one is awareness. Normally, each of these topics I speak for about an hour, but we don't have as much time today. So what I would suggest is, in case you are interested in exploring mindfulness a little bit more deeply, you can check out the playlist of my mindfulness videos, which are on Mindful Living YouTube channel. Requesting Ruchi to share the link of my playlist, and you can go and explore my sessions on acceptance, ego identification, and choice there. Today, let's move on to understanding attention. Attention is our ability to focus our thoughts on a particular thing, object, person, and hold it as long as we want to at will. Most of us have some ability to hold our attention, but here what we are talking about is our ability to hold our thoughts or our attention as long as we want, and doing it consciously. This is a faculty which fortunately can be trained and developed. It's much like building muscles in the gym. The more number of reps we do, more numbers of repetitions we do, the stronger our muscles become. And the same way, whenever the mind gets distracted and we bring it back to focus on what we are doing, the stronger our muscles of attention become. So attention is the best gift that we can give to anybody. Sometimes to understand a concept, understanding the opposite of it also becomes, makes it easier to understand the concept. So what would you think is the opposite of attention? Please type in the chat, what is the opposite of attention? What's the word that comes to you? Distraction. Thank you for sharing that, Navneet. Okay, let's see if there are any more responses. What is the opposite of attention? Distraction. Thank you. I think we've got an amazing audience. Distraction is the right answer. And see the impact distraction has on the workplaces across the world. 79% employees report being distracted at work. Now imagine if you are running a business or you're running a team, and if 79% of your employees are distracted, what kind of productivity can you expect? And because of this distraction, there is a quantifiable loss, and it is estimated that the companies in America lose $650 billion due to employees being distracted at workplace. That's a humongous amount of loss. So holding our ability has direct impact on the productivity that we have. In this brilliant book, Deep Work, Carl Newport talks about attention as the basic requirement for producing high quality work. Normally, when we talk about doing work, we only think in terms of the number of hours we spend at work. We don't think in terms of intensity of focus. And when we are focused, the quality of results that we produce is completely of a different level. Think of it in terms of sunlight, sun rays. When the sun rays are scattered all over, they just produce light. But when they are focused, they can even burn a hole in a rock. So that's the power of concentration. If we are distracted, we are all over the place, the quality of work that we will produce is of low quality. But when our efforts, when our thoughts are focused, we can truly produce very high quality work. And also think of it in terms of the number of hours we spend at work. There are so many executives who come to me, Ashish, I'm spending like endless hours at work. So we are all overwhelmed with the amount of time we are working in a day, 10, 12, 15 hours, and never being able to finish the work that we have to do. Now, when you increase your ability to focus, you will be able to accomplish the same or more work in much lesser time. And that additional time that is released, what is it that you can use it for? Please type in the chat and share your thoughts. If normally you're working 12 hours a day, but by being focused better, you can complete the same work in 9 hours. What is it that you're going to use the balance 3 hours for? It's a bounty, isn't it? What are you going to use that 3 hours for? You think it's possible to do 12-hour work in 9 hours by being focused more? Please share your thoughts in the chat. Yeah, you can hobbies, you can give time to the family. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, it's possible, and you can use this time very wisely. You can use this time for networking. Thank you for sharing that. For leisure time, it's possible. Okay, thank you. See, that's the impact we have, and we've just done this small exercise. We'll be sharing the recording of this session with you. You can use this recording to practice mindfulness on a daily basis, and keep building your ability to focus. Now look at this picture, and there is something common about these three people. What is common to all of them? Thank you, Neena ji, for sharing that. What is common to all these three people? Concentration, zeal, focus, concentration. Now imagine, are you following IPL? If you're following IPL, please type your favorite team. Thank you, Neena ji. If you're following IPL, please type your favorite. Gujarat Titans. Okay, Gujarat Titans seem to be the popular one. All right. So imagine your favorite team is Gujarat Titan, and the Hardik Pandya is playing, and after every shot he picks out his mobile and checks WhatsApp score. Checks on WhatsApp. What is the latest message he has got? There are so many things. So many people trying to reach out to him. Would you love if Hardik Pandya checks his mobile at the end of every over or after every shot? Would you love if your captain, whether it's Gujarat Titans or anything, KKR or Mumbai Indians, if your favorite bowlers or batsman or captain will check their mobile every time, would you love it while they are playing, while they are on the field? Navneet says no. And do you think we do that? Hassan Ali says no, nobody will like it, right? But imagine, husband, wife are talking and the wife is looking at the mobile, or the husband is looking at the mobile, or children are talking to us and you're listening to the children and attending to your mail at the same time. Nobody likes it, Or imagine you have gone for a heart surgery and the surgeon is checking his WhatsApp. He's also the CEO of the hospital and he needs to be constantly. Will you be comfortable getting operated by a surgeon who is also checking his mobile? Please type yes or no. No, you are not going to be comfortable with your life is at stake, right? Or the pilot, if you're flying in a plane and the pilot is checking his mobile while taking off, so we understand the importance of all right. We understand the importance of focusing our attention, and this is high quality critical work and high paying work. So whenever you want to achieve something of high quality, high value, you need to be focused, otherwise you can do small things, which multitasking is a myth, but some low value work you can do maybe 2-3 at a time, but high quality work needs your complete focus. And this is also the basis. Attention, our ability to hold attention is the foundation of peak performance. In this book called Flow, Mihaly has written that ability to hold attention is the foundation of peak performance, and also the happiness. A distracted state of mind, we can't be happy. We need a focused state of mind to be able to enjoy our life. So friends, on that note, I'll pause here to see if you have any questions or comments related to attention. You could unmute and yes, Asmita.
Sir, actually, I face this problem many times. I've experienced. Suppose, let's take an example. You're working on an application, very strongly focused, और उसमें एकदम घुस गए हैं. And for 5 or 10 minutes, any of your colleagues speaks to you, come to your desk and something important. And थोड़ा बहुत talk हो जाता है इधर उधर, थोड़ा सा मजाक मस्ती भी हो जाता है. And after that 10 minutes, again you are back with your application, you are whatever you are testing or whatever you are working very deeply focused. तो उस time वो जो कलीग ने जो बातें की होती है दैट कीप्स ऑन रिंगरिंग, और जो पहले जो हमारा लेवल ऑफ फोकस होता है और ये सेकंड टाइम जो बीच के इंटरवल के बाद जो फोकस होता है, दैट टाइम इट क्रिएट्स अ लॉट ऑफ, मतलब वो थॉट कीप्स ऑन लिंगरिंग, इट बिकम्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू बिल्ड दैट फोकस. सो व्हाट इज so because every time we cannot avoid the colleague or something, sometimes it is really important also, something related to work but not that work which you are doing. तो कभी time sheets भरना है, suppose anything related to, so that distraction comes and how to handle that to gain the level of focus where which we were having before the colleague entered. So
Yeah.
this thing I wanted to understand. And second thing, other things, whatever when we are ourselves also we are doing with deep concentration. उस time पे भी अलग से बीच में कोई thoughts आ जाते हैं. वो thoughts नहीं आने के लिए क्या करना चाहिए?
Okay. Okay. I think these are brilliant questions, Asmita. So one thing is when you have, let me address the second one first. Thoughts नहीं आएंगे ऐसा नहीं होगा. Thoughts आएंगे but आपको choose करना होगा to focus on what you want. So there is a technique called Pomodoro, which I'm going to talk about that would have been my next slide, but I'll share now, which is a concentrated period of 25 minutes. Where you don't attend to anything else. And what I do is when I'm in this Pomodoro mode for 25 minutes, when I'm not attending to anything else, if the thought comes, and I think it's an important one, I just keep a notepad next to me and I note it so that I don't lose that thought and I can go back to doing what I was doing earlier. That is one of the ways to do it. And, I'll be happy to hear from the team, because all the ideas don't necessarily, I'll request everybody to mute themselves when not speaking. And, that's one of the ways. Focused, have 25 minutes focused attention and write down what comes to you during that period. That's one of the ways to do it. When it comes to dealing with colleagues who come and interrupt, you will have to be choosy about it. You're absolutely right. I think that's a brilliant point you have made, which is called the residual effect of distraction. So when somebody comes and interrupts you, and even after they're going away, it takes us 15-20 minutes for the thoughts to come back and to the original state of level. So it's a big disturbance. What you could do is tell them that you're focused on something right now and you will come back to them, unless he's your boss or something who's really important, he or she, you could push them away politely, not be blunt, saying that you're focused on something, try doing that and you will come back to them. If it's not urgent, I'll come back to you and things like that. So they know. I'll tell you what happened to me once. I went to the financial controller of my company for something which was really, really important for me. And I went to him, and this is an incident which happened like 25 years back, but I've never been able to forget it. And he said, Ashish, this may be urgent for you, but it's not a priority for me. And he didn't attend to me. I found that very rude. I found that very disturbing because mera kaam atak gaya. But the fact is, here is a guy who's focused on his priorities and completely aligned with that. So it's okay. I got my lesson and I met a guy who's working on his priorities. So if you're clear about your priorities, we don't have to be a people pleaser. We don't have to rub the people wrong way. Very politely, you can tell them that you need your time and maybe you will, if so 25 minutes is the Pomodoro time. So if he's coming in at the say end of 10th minute or 15th minute, you could say, can this wait for another 5, 10, 15 minutes? I'll come to you. And then go back to him like that. Do you think, Asmita, that helps? And I'll like to, there's some other messages.
Actually, sometimes, sir, ऐसा होता है. Let's take an example. There are certain things which we have to fill up the time sheets in our office. There are certain timelines. So we actually needs that colleague needs to come in between and he needs to suppose whatever work we are doing, he has some doubt and which needs to be clear then and there itself. He or she will come, he will speak to you sometimes here and there, okay aaj aisa dress pehna, okay why, here and there thoda bahut idhar udhar casual talk hota hai. It's not that purposely we do, but by flow it happens. Then after again going to that again deep level of focus, again coming back, sometimes it's possible to avoid, but sometimes it is really very urgent and that we cannot avoid. So brain level पे या memory level पे हम कुछ ऐसे techniques apply कर सकते हैं क्या? We cannot help with the colleague. Sometimes it's not possible to avoid the colleague. In that extreme cases, what can be done?
So it will take practice, Asmita. Maybe we'll come back and discuss this towards the end of the session again, because there's a little bit more stuff that I need to cover. But you think about it. What's your priority? I'll go back to what I shared earlier. Whether your work is your priority or your colleague is your priority, and if there are timesheets to be filled, is there a time that it takes? Why does he have to come at random and ask you to fill timesheet? Those are some of the discussions you will have to think through and discuss with your colleagues. We will take this up maybe towards the end. Otherwise, we'll not be able to cover the next part which I have. Hassan Ali, please allow me to another 10 minutes, and then we will open up the session for Q&A.
Thank you, sir, for your sharing.
Yeah, thank you, Asmita. Those were brilliant questions. So this is the Pomodoro technique. There are timers you can look up, and this is a very simple technique, but the productivity increase that happens is not 10-20%. It's like 100, 200, 300%. When you are focused, when for 25 minutes you turn away everything, notifications, people, everything, your productivity goes up. And it takes practice. Nothing happens overnight, but as long as you are aware and you're sincere about practicing, things happen. Next, moving on to the awareness part, which is about relationships. And the reason I want to do this is because there are a lot of questions which came to me one-to-one about awareness, how to handle relationships. So the awareness, so one thing is attention, and the second component is awareness. And awareness works on multiple levels, which is awareness of thoughts, awareness of our emotions, awareness of our values, priorities, judgments, like, dislike. Most of the times we don't pay attention to these things, and we are living our lives very, very mindlessly. And once we start becoming aware, our life goes to a completely different level. I'll share with you one or two examples. This awareness, how it helped me. One thing is, we realize that all the emotions, including happiness, sadness, nothing is permanent. It comes and it goes. Or sensations like pain or a desire to smoke, it comes and goes. Nothing is permanent. And all you need to do is at that time step back and realize that this desire of getting angry or smoking is impermanent, and it will pass. And when we step back and become aware of that desire or that emotion we are experiencing, we are able to deal with it better. In my own case, I used to be a smoker, and I applied this technique of becoming aware of my urge for smoking. So the urge for smoking would come and it will pass off. If I don't smoke, it will pass off on its own. And so I just let it come, observe it, and let it pass. And I didn't act on it. And it's been over 13 years now that I have been smoke free. So similarly, you can apply this to the anger management. Once we start becoming aware, and the starting point is attention. Once we start building the muscle of attention, we start becoming aware of our emotions. When what happens when we start getting angry, our heart starts pumping faster, our breath becomes faster, the face becomes, so we start recognizing the signals in our body, what's happening in my body. And at that point, you have a choice, either shout at the other person or pause. And sometimes when I ask people to pause, people say, no, if I pause, I look stupid. I need to respond quickly. I'm not asking you to pause for like 1 minute or 2 minutes. It's like pausing for half a second. Even if you pause for half a second, you can control your thoughts, you can manage your emotions, and you can respond rather than react to the situation. And friends, this takes practice. It does not happen overnight. So it's not that you attended this session and from tomorrow this will come naturally to you. But keep practicing. It does come to you. The ability to pause will happen. Maybe you will be able to pause for half a second, then 1 second, 1 minute, and then you will be able to lead your life consciously rather than react to the situations as per the how our mind has been programmed or conditioned. So the application of awareness is in two very important areas. One is managing emotions like pain. Pain also comes and goes. Pain is never constant. So managing pain, managing addictions, managing anger, this is one area in which awareness works. And the second one is clarifying our values. And whenever we have conflict, what is at the root cause of that is the values we have. And we don't at many times really think about what I value. And I have many people who come to me for coaching, and they have landed up making poor decisions about their career because they wanted growth and security at the same time, and that led to a lot of confusion. If you want growth and if you're working in a public sector, public sector is not the best place to grow your career. Maybe a private sector is the best place. Or if you want security, but you are in a private sector job where there is no security, every day you read this company has fired thousands of people, that company has fired 12,000 people, 19,000 people. So how will you have security when you are in a private sector? So if you are wanting security but in a private sector, you're going to create a conflict and unhappiness in your mind. So it's very important for us to clearly identify what I value in my life. And another conflict I often see is whether career is more important or family is more important. So we don't think about it. What is my number one priority, career or family? And then all the decisions are mixed up. Or I want money, but are you clear whether you want to earn honestly, or you can do anything for the money? That's another area of conflict I see. Then freedom, whether you want a boss who micromanages you, a boss who gives you freedom. So when people make career choices, they go, who gives me more money? Yeah, here I'm getting 10 lakhs, there I'm getting 12 lakhs. But that guy who's going to give it 12 lakhs is going to monitor you like day in and day out. Are you going to sacrifice that value of freedom for 2 lakh rupees more? Those are the things we need to be aware of and then take. Or health, what is it I value more? Whether I value my health more or career more. For the sake of career, will I give up my health? 15 घंटे काम कर रहे हैं, एक्सरसाइज करने का टाइम ही नहीं है, और उस स्ट्रेस में फिर जंक फूड खा रहे हैं, तो पूरा हेल्थ कचरा हो गया. So what is it that you value, career or health? If my health is number one priority, then everything else, even what will you do? Will everything else fall in place according to that priority? Or within the family, who are more important, whether friends are more important than family or relatives are more. So like that, these are some there are many values that we may have. How much do I value life per se? So what is it that I value? Once we become aware of the values that we have, then things start becoming clearer. Like the question Asmita was asking, what is more of value, writing that code to me or attending to that friend who has come with an urgent request? So we need to understand, because we are not clear what we value more, these kind of conflicts come up. So in relationships also, whether I value relatives more, in-laws more, or my parents more, we need to be aware. And once we are aware, we can consciously choose our actions. Otherwise, we are living in a state of mindlessness or confusion. So when we bring about this inner awareness, we have more clarity and creativity in dealing with the situations. So I'll pause here now, and I'd like to open up the session for Q&A. Anybody would like to? I'm pretty much done with what I wanted to share with you today. I have taken care to address the questions which came to me directly. But if there is something that has been missed out, you can still send me a DM, or you could raise your hand, ask your questions. I'll be happy to take that now. And while you are thinking, okay, Asmita, will come to you. While you're thinking of your questions, I'll request you to fill out the feedback form that we are sharing in the chat. We would truly appreciate your feedback. Thank you, Surinder. Thank you, friends. Please fill out the feedback form. There is this thing which is pending, which we will do also. 2 practices which do not need. Once you have filled out the feedback form, please type FD in the chat so that we know you have filled out the feedback form. Hassan Ali, would you like to go with your question?
No, actually, the question was same. what Asmita was asked, that the distractions are happening in the office. So when I was attending your session, and I know that it's very important session for me. So a lot of messages and continuous WhatsApp messages coming to me. So I have the option, either I have to mute that people at that temporary and write down that whenever they're asking something, so I can contact them after the meeting. So this is what during the session I got the message. So I will be concentrating only on your session. This is what I wanted to add.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Sanali. That's very powerful. And Asmita, yeah, go on, ask your question.
So one more problem I have observed, I don't know it is with everybody or with me. So I just wanted to understand like how to increase, suppose you are teaching, you or any person is someone is giving us some KT or trying to teach us something. For some moment of time we are with that person, we are completely attentively listening to that person. But in between some other thoughts comes up and we get carried away with that thoughts, and in between we miss out what that person is saying. Again we come back and then we, oh acha ye kya bol raha tha, beech mein chhut gaya, usko wapas, अरे क्या बोल रहा था वापस बोल. So it creates a problem in between asking that person also, and sometimes there is a fear of, so how to increase that attention span, that
Yeah.
razor sharp focus, and how to maintain the patience, that is one thing.
That's a very good question, Asmita. Thanks for asking that. And as I mentioned earlier, Asmita, this takes practice. So as you keep practicing, you will keep getting better at it. And there is one simple practice that I can share with everybody who's there on the call and those who are watching the recording. Is a 1 minute practice, and this 1 minute mindfulness practice can be done any point of time when you're waiting at the lift, or you're waiting to meet somebody, or in between. It just takes a minute, and let's do that together. And this, yes, we will share the recording with everybody. Let's do that together. It's a 1 minute mindfulness practice, and this one involves breathing deeply. This is paying attention to breathing deeply. So please sit straight. You may keep your eyes closed or open and just breathe in deeply. I'll keep the time. You don't have to worry about the time. Breathe into a count of 3 and breathe out to a count of 3, and gradually increase this to a count of 5, 7, and 10 as you may be comfortable. Breathe into a count of 5, breathe out to a count of 5, breathe into a count of 7, breathe out to a count of 7, breathe into a count of 10, breathe out to a count of 10. This is a very simple mindfulness, deep breathing mindfulness practice, which you can do in a duration of 1 minute. And normally it varies from people to people, but normally people are able to deeply breathe about 6 to 10 times in a minute. So if you're not able to keep time, you can just keep the count of the number, how many times you're breathing in deeply. You can do this as many times in a day. I met the IT head of a very large company, and he had a timer on his clock. Every 1 hour it would beep, and every 1 hour he would take this 1 minute to breathe in deeply and refocus, re-energize himself every hour. So that's as you keep practicing, you will keep getting better. Asmita, hope that helps.
Yeah, sir. Thank you very much. And can I ask you one more thing? Is it okay?
Yeah, sure.
या सब मेरा एक ऑब्जर्वेशन था कि जो लोग कम बोलते हैं बहुत, उनका फोकस और ये बहुत ही डेडली अच्छा होता है, एंड रादर देन दोज हु बहुत ज्यादा चटर पटर करते हैं, ज्यादा बोलते हैं, तो इट इज समथिंग. बट वन थिंग आई आल्सो ऑब्जर्व, व्हेन वी आल्सो नीड पीपल, लोगों की जरूरत लगती है, सो वी शुड बी नेटवर्किंग आल्सो. तो जो कम बोलते हैं, they miss out on the networking part. So what do you feel, how to maintain this balance? कि जो कम बोलते हैं उनके लिए अकड़ू भी लोग समझते हैं कि ये बहुत अकड़ू है, तो that is also one of the drawback they face. But chatters they get more, बहुत सारे लोगों का help मिल जाता है because they create more friendship because of that chatting nature. So but they lack on the focus part. ये मेरा observation है. I'm not sure how much it is. So how can we maintain the balance if I don't know how question this appropriately?
Very, very nice question, Asmita, and I understand where you're coming from. I'm not sure, I'll attempt to respond to that, but I'm not sure if we'll get the complete essence now. It will, we will hold these sessions. So next one we are planning to do on 10th of June. So come for the next session also. As you attend more and more mindfulness sessions, and as you practice more, you will keep getting better at it. And now to respond to your question, those who don't talk much, are they good networkers or not? You don't necessarily need to be an extrovert to be a networker. You can be an introvert and still be a good networker. What is required for networking is an ability to help other people, to reach out and make connections and add value. If I'm an introvert, but if I come to you and say, there is something I can offer you which adds value to, I may not say it like aloud in so many words, but if the intent is there to help other people, people understand that intent, people are quick to connect with that intent, and the networking happens. So that is one. So I don't know whether that helps you or not, Asmita, but you can be an introvert and still be a good networker. I don't think it's contradictory.
Okay, sir. Actually, I am a chatter, but I have a lot of habit of observing things. So I observed that when I speak less or very much, that time my focus is very good. And when I chatter like anything, that time the focus hill jata hai, because all that blabber, what I say or what the other person said, keeps on revolving in the mind when we are trying to focus on something very important, especially while meditating. I've seen a lot of thoughts comes up, and so that was my thing.
Good. Now, so that this awareness is important, Asmita. So now you know that when you have to focus, you talk less so that your focus will be better. And whenever you are in a social setting where you don't need a high amount of focus, you can be your usual normal talkative self and flow at your best. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Surinder. Best networker is always the biggest giver. So thank you for that. Ravi, I think you had some questions. If there are quiet people tend to be more observant. Yes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your comments. Really appreciate. We are pretty much at the close of our session. If you have any more questions, I'll be happy to take them. Our next session will be on next Saturday at 11 a.m., which is on Kabir Das. So please, join, and we'll be sharing the details in our community. So please share that with your friends and join the session. Ravi, you have a question?
No, sir.
Okay. So I just want to make sure that all the questions we have been able to take and address.
Thank you, sir. क्योंकि ज़्यादा questions मेरे ही थे.
Good, Asmita. As for all of us.
Yeah, thank you. Those were good questions, Asmita. Thanks for asking. So friends, that brings us to the end of the session. Thank you very much for participating in the session actively and giving your full attention. As I mentioned earlier, we'll connect again at 11 a.m. on next Saturday, sharing the link of our community once again for those of you who would like to join the community and benefit from the awesome sessions we conduct every weekend. Please click on the link and join the community, and make some noise on your way out. Have a nice weekend. Unmute yourself, say bye, have fun, have a great weekend and great week ahead. Thank you, Sanali. Thank you, Ravi. Thank you, Ninaji.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.